Hello there. Thanks for stopping by. I am working my way through a recent trip to Cambria that my husband and I took. And I am working on photos from the town of Cambria. And while we were there, they had a scarecrow festival. And scarecrow is really very a loose term. It could be anything. So this is a scarecrow. And this one was my favorite. But we had Little Shop of Horrors, just all different kinds. Alfred Hitchcock. I'm not sure who this character is. This is the one that was in front of the inn we stayed at. There's my husband. That is Crow Chanel, I think is what they called her. And they just kind of, the businesses or the stores, some of them just created their scarecrows to mimic what the store was. So if it was a sea themed store, you could see where they're selling all these stones and what have you, these figurines and what have you. They made their scarecrows coordinate with that. So I have these photos here. I also have a couple pictures of my husband, or a picture of my husband and I, and a couple pictures from the candy store we stopped at while we were just walking through town. And so, of course, we had to stop at the candy store and get something. So while we were out there enjoying our candy, they had this bench out there, and it was all decorated for for Halloween. And some guy walked by and said, "That is a cute picture. Should I take a picture of you?" And I thought, "Hey, yeah, we never have pictures of us together." So this picture from there. So let me bring in my papers. I know which paper pack I'd like to use, and that is the Gathering Together, the DSP. This is the one that has all the gold foiling on the opposite sides. Really pretty. My favorite one, which is always, my go-to, is this one here, but don't have much of it left. So I thought I'm gonna, decide there's got to be a different one. I've got to use up what I have in the pack. So I pulled out this one, which I thought was really pretty. It has the gold foiling as well. And we've got the basic beige and Cajun Craze and early espresso. And I thought that these two, even though they're really strong patterns, I think they really go well together. So I thought, and since you could see I don't have a full sheet of this. I do have another full one for the right side. I just thought I'd do a strip type of layout. So I'm thinking I'd really like to go with those two for sure. And then I think I want to do a couple of torn paper elements across the top, border the plaid in, I'm thinking this one, because I really like this early espresso paper. It's got a little tiny watermark pattern on it. And I thought just a little strip to divide that paper from everything else, since there's a lot of craziness going on. Wanted to give myself a healthy border on top for my title. This will be my right page. And then I thought I'd bring in a couple of other papers. I thought perhaps this one, I think one of these basic beige ones. So we've got, that's early espresso and a little bit more. This one would be cute too. It has the Cajun, what is that? That is the crushed curry. I have to go take a quick peek, but I think I'll save that for another time, along with this really pretty green, and that is an option as well. So a couple of these, and see which one I like the best. There is Alice saying hello again. So let's slide this underneath. I like this one a lot. I might do this one. And then also I have a strip of just the Cajun Craze two-tone cardstock, which I think will help break up the patterns a little bit. And I'm thinking about tearing those two. So I have a torn edge, but keeping this one not torn. And then cut this down, giving myself maybe an inch down here at the bottom, maybe an inch and a half, and then another early espresso pattern border. So let me clear these out and get those papers cut down real quick. I cut down all my papers, and since I'm building this as strips, I am building it on just some basic white cardstock. Let me see. I think I have my sides turned around just a bit. So just want to start putting this together kind of from top to bottom, making sure that I have enough. I cut my papers big enough, but so that way I cut extra, gave myself like a little extra, and that way I can adjust them up and down. So this is our top, which is 2 by 12 or 12 by 2, I guess you want to say. And then I'm going to add the bottom one, which is 1.5 by, or 12 by 1.5. And we'll get that tacked down real fast. And that way I figured I could just do some adjusting if necessary. Like that. This one is going to go right about in the center. So let us see. So I'm going to put the Cajun Craze first to break up that paper, and then this one here, that little basic beige, little dotted, slightly dotted pattern. Like that. This one is going to come down here. This is where I'm saying might run into a little need to adjust, or might add those torn papers to the bottom as well. Let me see. Let me slide that up. I have these ones torn already over here. Let me see what I have. Let's see. And that will fill in my issue. I cut that paper just a little short, but I think this will be fine. Actually, I'm going to add this one first and then the Cajun Craze underneath. And then just that little border strip like that. There we go. Problem solved. So that is going to be my layout. Let me get the rest of them adhered down, cut out a couple more pieces for this side and adhere this side down, and we will get our photos placed. All of my papers are adhered down, and really liking the torn paper on the top and on the bottom, so that was a happy mistake. So let me lay out the photos. I want to put this as my main photo, and then the candy store photos, something like that. I can hide that sandwich board. There's not much there. Like in that. I do have a lot of these. So this one is a 4 by like 5 and, excuse me, wrong measurement, 5 3/4. I couldn't get it to stretch. I think it was taken more portrait, and I couldn't stretch it out, or it was landscape, but it kept cutting off my feet because he had so much space up above. So I made it a little smaller just so that we didn't lose our feet too much. All these other little ones here, these are all 3 by 4s, and these I think are 2 by 3s, a little bit bigger, 2.5 by just over 3. So, and I'm just gonna do 3 across. I'm gonna definitely be using flip flops. I'm gonna use my favorite ones up front. I'm loving these really super colorful ones. Let me see. I like Jack Skellington, but he's a little dark. So let me see if I can put him in the center, if that will help. I like that guy there. Let's see. Oh, then my husband with Crow Chanel. So thinking just like that. The rest are going to go underneath in flip flaps. So I did already do my journaling, so that will go in a flip flap as well, because I obviously have run out of room. Actually, I think I'm going to put Jack to the back because he's really dark compared to the most of the other ones. And she's a little dark, but I do want my husband on the front. So I'm thinking something like that. I'm ready printed out my journaling. I have mounted it on a piece of Cajun Craze. And I did it backwards. See? So I'm going to have to change that around. I did not, let's hope we can do it without ruining it, cut 2 pieces of the Cajun Craze. So it's the dark on one side, the light on another. So it's going to go like that. I have to go like this. So that way when you flip it up, you can read it. So, and I think I'll just pop that probably just right underneath there. So that is my picture layout for my title. So I brought in a couple of different stamp sets to do my title. I took the October, which is in Cajun Craze, and I mounted it in Early Espresso. This is from the Halloween Memories. And the Adventure portion of my title, which is just a stamp, so you have to fussy cut that out, comes from the new Outdoor Adventure, which has just been released this week. And I just stamped that in Early Espresso. So I'm thinking I'm going to do something like that. Just have them overlap. I'll probably pop that up and put that down flat, maybe move it over a little so I have room for my embellishments, which are a lot of the I have a ton of leaves. These are from the Gathering Moments Stampin' Die set, and it's got this great mushroom. It has some really nice leaves, and I love the little acorn there as well. And I also brought in another new set. This is the Creative Havens dies. I didn't get the stamp set. I really didn't need the sayings that were on the stamps, but I love the tags that it created. In fact, you have options for your tag toppers or your tag holes. You can get it a slit, as you can see here, or with a hole. So I punched out or die cut out a bunch of those. So let me bring in some of my leaves. I've got tags. I've got a spotlight on nature, circle. Pull these all in. Then I also cut out from that same Creative Haven dies these leaves here, these sprigs, and these are all done out of Old Olive. I did the dark and the light side, and then I went in with some Old Olive ink, and I just inked them up a little bit to give them a little bit more dimension and what have you. So we have all of this to work with. I have an Old Olive die and just a couple more sprigs and leaves here. So I'm definitely going to add a little bit up here to my title. So let us just start playing with some of the parts and pieces. I want to bring in some of this crushed curry. You see a little bit of it in this paper here. So I wanted to sprinkle that around a little bit. I love these little berries. So maybe we can add something up there. And maybe a leaf as well. And something similar on the other side. So you have 2 different types of leaves. You have a single and then more like, oops, upside down, a double. So you have some options. Definitely going to add a mushroom. Love the mushrooms. I think they're so cute. Let's see. And we could add another yellow one. And let's add one of these sprigs here. Let's get that started there. Circle is for, let's move that over a little bit so we have room for our cluster. Is going to be to anchor my embellishment cluster there. I'm thinking I want to do these 2 over on this side. I like that. And then we'll do probably one more cluster, maybe just around here or something like that. We'll see. So we'll use that tag there. So let's start off with some leaves. one on each side. They do luckily kind of go in opposite directions, the two different styles. So bring in some of these cute sprigs. Alrighty, again, I have this crushed curry. Wish there was a good way that they could just stay down, even just temporarily. I need to get maybe some repositionable tape, something like that. So let's get this in here. I'm very much into symmetry, so I'm happy when things are duplicated. So I'll probably end up grabbing this little guy from up here. Since those are the same, let's bring this more Cajun Craze color up here. Add that there. Let's find ourselves a mushroom. Definitely a mushroom. And maybe an acorn. I'd like to add in a couple of these little kind of berry sprigs. So let me just get that kind of loosely put together. And then let's come over to this side real quick. Again, like I said, every cluster is going to have a mushroom. Mushrooms for everybody. So get that there. Let's see if that would look good. Like this larger leaf. This one will not be symmetrical. I think I'm going to try and see if we can just put it in there. Something like that. We'll have to just make sure that it doesn't get caught by that flip flap there. Let's see. I think this one's a little bit too big. I think we can put 2 here. Where's our mushroom? Tuck that one underneath so that we have a little bit of definition between the two colors. A little berry sprig. We'll have to add some ribbon to our tags. So there we go. Thinking maybe we'll see if we can add a little bit more greenery on this side. I'd have to bring it over just a touch. Pull that one up. And we can extend that just a little bit so that's a little bit more substantial. So I am liking that. Let me start adhering down the pictures and some of my clusters. I've messed around with my clusters a little bit and got them to where I was really, really happy with them. I brought in some of this Mossy Meadow gold trim ribbon and I looped that through the tags and just tied it with just a little bit. Don't judge my gold twisted thread. That one's a little bit of a mess. Really happy how those came together. I did come in and matte up my main photo in both the Cajun Craze and the early espresso so that it popped just a little bit. I also came in and popped up around my photos where they were laying on top of this one because they were just not laying properly. So I did the same with the little circle here and then added dimensionals here and there just to pop things up. Here on the right side, I put my photos in their flip flap. So I have, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 photos just on this side. I did run out of flip flops, so this guy is a little loose right now, and my journaling will go underneath as soon as I order some more. But I really like how this ribbon looks with this. It kind of brings the gold in from the paper above and below. I did go and repunch that little tag topper. It was a circle to begin with, and then I liked the slit because it worked with my ribbon, and I really, really wanted to use that ribbon. I do want to bring in some bling, most definitely, and these are the Cajun Craze and gold dots. They couldn't be more perfect. So we're going to scatter those all around this layout. I mean, perfect color combination for this layout. And let's see, let's add another one. Let's just add it right up there. I'm just going to do like normal, a cluster of 3. We'll just bring them around the title block. The adventure part of the title, I also popped up on some dimensionals. That way it didn't lay flat, because otherwise it was going to run into a problem with all these layers that I created with the torn paper and what have you. Let's get a couple on this side. So we have a total of 5 there, and just a couple more here on our tag. And then we will be done. Everything I used will be listed in the description box below, in case there's anything you're interested in. And I truly hope you enjoyed my video, and that hopefully you gained a little bit of inspiration from it. Until next time, I will see you again on YouTube. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.